Hey,
How you doing?
yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, it feels
Congrats on
oh, sorry.
congrats on your prototype website. Looks very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with it so far. Sometimes I fall into a design where a component, like one component looks a certain way and then I keep repeating that, but I was fairly happy with I've managed to like break up the pattern by inserting images and some variation in the page. It's harder to
Yeah,
do. I whenever I try to design something, I feel like I just realize design is trickier somehow than I thought because there's always like as much as you design something and you add things and then you realize like there's a weird pattern that emerges that like like the various elements and the spacing of the page make like a weird visual effect, and it's hard to like avoid those things or figure out if the page is like too dense or too much space. uh but yeah, but I got, at least
yeah,
I'm happy for now with the base design, and I feel like it's a design that's fairly repeatable. If I develop like a new hobby, I can insert like a new row easy enough. But I'm also excited that maybe in the background, I'm gonna do some interesting like animated or interactive images, and I'll make the background maybe even like a 3JS scene, or I'll try to incorporate like a shader, maybe like a shader that the user can like toggle on for fun, so that the website can sort of run in a minimalist way without anything, especially on mobile. But then if the user's like poking around, they can like flip on a shader and maybe affect something about, like, maybe have an equation they can edit that affects like the shader in real time, or some like
ooh,
stuff like
that's a
that. It would be cool.
fun idea. Yeah,
Yeah, because whatever it's called, there's some kind of web. I guess it's used through like 3JS, but 3JS is like a wrapper around the browser APIs that can just natively like apply shaders. And so it's fun
right.
to like just kind of like, on the one hand you're sort of like demonstrating a familiarity with that and like a little bit of an ability to use it how you want. So it does kind of show off like a little portfolio thing. It shows off like the ability to create an effect with a certain technology, but then it's also just kind of fun. And for me, it's like a good reason to look into it and try to create something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember like I forget what it's called. WebGL or whatever. Like
Oh yeah,
um
yeah,
but there's like some websites that have a lot of like cool shaders, but then it's like a slightly different uh shader language than Godot. So it's like,
Mm.
uh, yeah, there's like a
Right.
little bit of translating that I have to do
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. It is annoying with shaders. Shaders are annoying for a couple of reasons, and one is that there's just a bunch of like global variables that you never know, and it's super dependent on the environment, like which ones you have access to and what they do. And sometimes
Yeah,
they have similar names, and there's like no documentation. And when you
yeah,
experiment with them, like, yeah, there's no printing or anything, like no debugging. It's just like it works or it doesn't.
yeah, yeah. That's like one thing that I found really tough about shaders is the lack of debugging. Like, I don't know how professional. Like, I assume there's tools or something for professionals when they're making like a complicated shader, like to work around that. But I don't know. I
Yeah.
couldn't find it with a little bit of search.
Yeah, or even just like auto complete syntax highlighting, like
Yeah,
let me
yeah, just like
type and
basic
see what
IDE stuff.
variables. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there's not like the naming conventions and stuff, and there's a weird like sloppiness how like vectors, like you can do like a vector variable dot xy, and it just hands you back like a tuple with like two values in it.
uh-huh.
And just weird manipulations of data things. But then it's also like hard. It's like strongly typed. Like if you have floats, you can't pass them to like like you have like I seem to recall having like a square root function for like integers and one for like floats, and you like could not mix those two. And uh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I wonder
But
why
it's
that
so
is.
funny to
Maybe
like,
just
yeah,
historical.
it's just funny to have like this really hardly typed thing in like a text, what feels like an unsyntax highlighted text file.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like these guys are really strict, but like do not seem to know that people were going to program the language.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a bad combination. Yeah. I remember working when I was working on Microsoft's search engine Bing for like a little bit. um,
Hmm.
it was like so. It reminded me of writing shader code a little bit, where it was like the it would be like I was me and the data scientist would sort of be at the end of uh this pipeline of like uh the search uh layers that I couldn't hope to understand, even having worked there a year. But basically, we just get some different variables, and then we have like I don't know 50 milliseconds max to uh, produce or like reorder the search results or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But it would be like just like the most like spaghetti JavaScript untyped like it's like, and this is just like powering this like somewhat crucial part of the internet. So that was illuminating for me.
Yeah, are you talking about like sort of like minified JavaScript almost like for because it trying to be small in
No,
length or something?
it was just like like people that like their main thing isn't coding. It's more just the data science math side of it. Um,
And
and
what's the but that JavaScript probably didn't have to run in that 50 millisecond constraint you said, or did it?
no, I did. Yeah, that was like
Oh,
the thing that had to run really fast. Um, yeah, yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, and like if you tried to run like the model, I don't know. I mean, probably it's all gone
hmm.
now and just replaced by AI like stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was like around the time I was there, like when it was just being sort of transitioned to use like AI for all of that, but it was like still like sort of maintaining all this like really old stuff.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of funny. It's like the world used to run on some really ugly JavaScript, but but those were like the good secure days compared to what we have now, which is like a
Uh-huh.
lying machine running the run.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's ways in which it was better.
Yeah, I've been feeling good recently. Like work's been at like a good level of challenge. I've been like, yeah, so I've been just like brushing up my React JS skills, and I've had the chance to sort of work, like sort of render a map, in the browser and put like map markers on it and pipe data around like a React JS in different ways.
Cool.
And also do like an auth login flow. Like when my app starts up, it requests the user like it redirects them to like a Microsoft login page, then they get directed back with like a token that I use for APIs. And so there's some like fun like flows that I was familiar with but hadn't like done in practice ever. But it's fun to like get those connected. And I put in like a date picker, like a component that I got from a library elsewhere. It lets you like it just shows like a little calendar and you choose a date. But I was happy with that because that's something that I've always. It's like a complicated component and you can't really make it yourself, but it's fun to like get a component and just kind of make it work. Like it had some styling issues when I first got it because it was conflicting with like another set of components that I had, and so I like resolved those, and then it ends up working, and it's just fun to sort of bring various complicated things together and like see it happen, and then feel like now I have like another thing in my tool belt that I can do.
Yeah, that sounds
Uh,
really satisfying.
yeah, then also last weekend, me and my sister recorded for about an hour. I finally like set up my PC in my new house, so we started playing like Astroneer again because
Oh, that's
uh, Yeah, before the Christmas break, we had Astroneer like released some DLC where you could have these like huge like space stations in orbit that I still haven't like gotten into. But me and my sister started like working. You had to like start a new game and sort of build up resources to unlock the DLC. But we did that like before the break, and so now we this last weekend we started off doing the first mission of the DLC, which requires you to collect like various resources. And I had like a full like base built out, so it took us about an hour to like get those resources together. Uh, and then I spent some time myself after building like a fairly automated machine that it basically takes in like copper resource and it converts that copper into like scrap. And with scrap in Astroneer, you can use like scrap to exchange for like any other resource. So that's a valuable thing to build is like a big pile of like scrap or whatever. You can fill these like containers with like scrap. And then you can send this like automated shuttle to go request like whatever, valuable resource you want instead of like finding it.
Mm.
Uh, and so I set up like a pipeline where I had these huge like containers full of like the basic resource that like melted it down into copper and printed it into these like circuits and then shredded them to create the scrap and then put it into like this another large container full of scrap. So that
Nice.
was like that was a fun thing to create because then it sort of feels like now we're ready to go into like the real DLC. And there's an exciting part where when you put the machine that's going to print the giant satellite, it shows you like the faint like ghost like outline of the giant satellite that's going to print or like giant space station.
Mm.
And so we can already see like this enormous like size of this thing, and we're ready to like feed in the resources next weekend whenever we play. And also I have these scrap prepared so that if it asks us for like whatever other resources, I can more efficiently like uh, collect those and move forward like through the DLC faster. So it's just fun to be like video games are good at delivering one a sense of accomplishment, and this is a moment in Astroneer where it feels like okay, everything's like under control. I have everything I need like in my base, and I'm ready to like do a fun like DLC thing.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. Yeah, and a good way to, I don't know, just like have fun with a sibling. Like that's
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah.
It is funny
Did
though.
you?
Like me and her started out recording like 1 hour each weekend, and we started out like just talking, and we had some good conversations. But then eventually, yeah, we play games more often than not. But it is true; it's very hard to concentrate and play a game at the same time. And so I
Yeah.
definitely notice like it's a fun way to spend time with someone, but certainly there's like a real lack of like density of communication when people are doing something other than just like straight talking. Uh, and that's an interesting
Yeah.
trade-off actually. It's because it's like debatable. It's like what is the more important thing, like to, you know, exchange like a density of information or to just have fun like in the presence of someone else, or
Right.
maybe both
Yeah.
are equal.
Yeah. Yeah. I do
Yeah.
think about, yeah, like how it's like, yeah, the activity that people are doing together just like shapes the conversation like so much, like even subconsciously, or like to a good degree that I feel like people don't always like know. But then like when it's like different, then you like really notice it. I don't know.
Mm.
Like
Right.
if I know somebody from like a certain context, or it's like I see this person all the time at the chess club or whatever. But then we're just kind of talking about chess. But then I was like
Mm.
on the bus ride home with them randomly, and it was like, oh, like maybe we talk about other stuff now, like, or I don't know. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that is funny. I think to a large extent, I've always like known people through like work related or school related activities, or like when I'm with people, there's some like clear reason, like some activity we're participating in. So I find that very keeps like in my mind that's the way that I understand communication is like when there's like a shared objective. And then I've had very little experience like when it's kind of open ended and it's unclear. It's just like free time. Then I
Yeah.
don't know. Uh, I always end up going back towards like what's some kind of shared objective that both people would be interested in and working towards it. It's hard to figure out like what is there to accomplish if there's nothing like presenting itself as sort of like the topic or the challenge or something.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. Yeah, I like in a similar vein of bonding over playing games. I finally found. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I like have tried like at different times to find a game that my partner would like playing with me. Um, and I finally found. Well, I mean we do play like I don't know the New York Times like word games and stuff, and like that's fun. Um, but yeah, do you know the game Root Trees Are Dead?
I've heard a lot about it recently on MinMax, and I watched a quick video of it.
Yeah, I thought that might be up her alley, and it indeed was. And yeah, we just beat it the other day. We've been playing it for like off and on for like 2 months, I think. And yeah, and it has like a DLC and stuff, and yeah, it's a good one. I feel like it's also made in Godot, which is cool. And yeah, I feel like there's certain games that are good for co-opness even when they're single player, and I don't know exactly what that quality is, but I feel like crosswords are like a good one where it's like that. Yeah, you can just so easily do it with another person, and this game felt like that. Like it's just like fun little clues that you can consult together. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Astroneer is a little different in that there's actually two people directly playing at the same time. But
yeah. There's a interesting in between. Yeah, I guess with my sister, like my sister's good at like full 3D games with camera and movement, and so Astroneer is good. We both have like full agency. Yeah, with my partner, another barrier with my partner to games is that like she speaks like Mandarin mostly and isn't so interested in like reading a lot of English text or like following an English story. So there's a lot of games that, because my partner also is not good at like controlling a camera and a 3D character, and also like sometimes feels motion sick with that kind of stuff.
right.
So then games have to be like the movement has to be like intuitive and usually like 2-dimensional or like a 3-dimensional where it manages the camera for you. And then also like not so much story typically, and just some kind of action. But we found we got through like the split, or no, It Takes Two. We played that game, but there was moments that were like more challenging because there's coordination. Like it's good with the camera, but there are some times when it's like it. I noticed actually like it telegraphs, like to gamers where to go, but like non-gamers don't. They see like an environment and it doesn't stand out to them like where to go.
Yeah,
so that was interesting. And then we've played like Overcooked and Unrailed as well.
Haven't heard of that.
Oh yeah, Unrailed is a fun like 2-player game where you try to keep a train running, and it's in this like low poly block, like or voxelish environment.
Sounds good. Good premise.
Yeah. And there's a game called A Short Hike, which is got a bit of story, but also just kind of fun exploration. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I really like that game. I feel it's like to me it's like a kind of perfect little game. Like it's like just like a good example of like they set out to do a thing and like did it perfectly.
Yeah, there's not a lot of resistance from what I recall. Like it just kind of starts up. It's intriguing. There's little games whenever you need them to be to sort of stay like interested, and like sort of a story you could look into if you want, but not like an overbearing story. And the graphics are pretty unique as well.
Yeah.
And then tonight me and my partner are we're gonna do the same seed in Balatro, and
that's fun.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what strategy we'll take, because I think it'll be fun to sort of play through and see how long we agree on the same strategy, and then at some point we'll diverge, and then we'll see like who kind of does well or not.
Yeah, like
Or
check with each other,
yeah,
like every action type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I think
That's a
that'll
fun.
be interesting. I
Yeah.
wonder how the like if you're in a seed, like I wonder if any action, like even the hand you play, does that affect like the jokers that appear the next turn? Or I wonder,
Yeah.
because yeah, you'd think like if there's just a random number generator that's being queried at every action, then like any deviation would affect like all future actions. But like even the boss type or something, or like but I wonder if you can kind of diverge and then come back together and just essentially have like different amounts of money, but have like everything for the remainder be the same or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I haven't. It's got me thinking about, yeah, like implementation wise.
Unless, yeah,
Yeah, I guess it
maybe
is.
I guess anything that's created off the start, like all the bosses are created and various, maybe the order of the cards is created, but then anything that's like real time queried would be cause like a pull from the random generator that would then offset all the future pulls.
Right.
Or could
Yeah.
you,
That's
and then, yeah, actually, then another question is like, could you just like kind of figure out the what all the random pulls are going to be, and then you would know, like if you know the seed originally, you can just predict with 100% accuracy like what the next thing is going to be because you know what the next random number is waiting on top of the generator.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I
Mhm.
wonder maybe it'd be even easier like implementation wise to like uh just like query for like when it's like creating the shop or whatever. It just like takes the game state plus the random seed and like hashes them together and then
Yeah,
uses that, you know what I mean? So it's like you don't even need to do any pre-population of anything. I don't know.
I wonder. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. Like, do me and my partner get the same cards in the same shop after
Right.
we've made slightly different
With the
decisions?
first
Yeah,
divergence. Yeah.
yeah. Huh.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
a
Then
brief.
we were talking. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I had a brief Balatro obsession. I don't know if I mentioned that at some point, but yeah,
Okay.
last year I was I got in deep, but now yeah I haven't played in a long time. Yeah.
That's a good segue though, because Balatro is like the very tip of the high end of what me and you are talking about doing this year, which is like trying to get a game on Steam. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, obviously like Balatro, they had like a publisher after an initial demo went well, and I don't know if it took maybe a bit more than a year or a couple of years to like finalize that game, but obviously it's one person driving a game forward and largely like putting it on Steam and then doing super well. And then just recently, yeah, what gave me obviously the idea to try to get a game on Steam by the end of the year was this guy Arimos, if that's how you say his name. He made this game called a game about feeding a black hole, and then he says that it grossed 500K in total sales in 1 month. But that I think largely that was driven by they emailed a bunch of streamers and they used the right like language when like they had a lot of strategy going into like where to market it and how to market it, and
Yeah.
they like they did a lot of like game design was done right, and maybe some user testing, and I think they did like a lot of things right in terms of marketing and all the stuff you don't think about in order to like get this game made. And then to like I'm sure the game would be just as good if they just made it, but all the extra stuff that they did with little like marketing tweaks, I'm sure that is what caused like the actual money to be made. Uh,
Right.
but it's an interesting it's almost like a game in itself. It's sort of like assuming we can technically make the kind of game that we want to make, like a simple game, then the game for us is like jump through a set of hoops that are like, like whatever the Steam, there's some kind of
Yeah.
Steam next fest. And you like if you get into Steam Next Fest, apparently you get like 1 to 5K views. I don't know how they guarantee 5K page views, but they do. I guess they guarantee they'll show your game in 5,000 search results of different people, so they'll at least get to glance at it or something. And so that's like a little boost. And then it would be crazy. Like a mid-tier goal would be not for this year, but like eventually get into like something like Day of the Devs, like make something that gets picked up by
Yeah.
Day of the Devs and shown as like a, this game looks cool or it has some kind of unique thing.
Yeah.
And then that would, I think,
agree.
once you sort of qualify for like a program like that, I think people will start just buying your game just to check it out, and then you'll make probably a certain amount of money that's like not nothing, which would be nice just to have said that we made something that passes like clearly like the quality test for being worth money, some amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I'm on board with that, all
yeah.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I started thinking like I still feel like I'm not at all motivated by money. It's just kind of exciting to feel like, you know, us like, I say basically like take the like assume we can do it technically, because I feel like if people are out there making games and they have the technical ability to make simple games, then we must also, like if we put the right amount of effort into it, I'm sure we can do like just as well as those other people that are doing technical, like what's technically necessary to make a game. So
Yeah.
that part is like, for me, I'm like willing to just sort of assume that's like a given if we put our work into it. And
Yeah.
then, uh, yeah, then it's just fun to think like in sort of a market where people are buying and selling, can we adopt like the right mindset to figure out how do we position the technical thing that we've made to just to prove that like we can figure out the puzzle of like how do you get handed money through this like magical internet
Right.
if you insert like a game shaped like object.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I think
and
that
yeah,
part,
that's
like,
yeah.
like I similarly like think about it, or I want to think about it as just like a separate thing from whatever the creative thing is, and like its own little game. Um, and I'm like, I think I will be really bad at this game. Like, I just like don't have any instincts or prior knowledge around it. Uh, and I'm like, I think even more so, I feel like I have been learning over the past year or so that I do gain energy from working like with other people. Um, and I should probably do that and figure that out. But that, even that aside, like after creating the thing, I'm like, I feel like I need to have friends or hire somebody to just help with marketing, like if it comes to that, because I feel like it's, yeah, like if it's something that I think could actually sell, then I would just be out of my depth, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I assume people would like emerge to help, like if the momentum got going where like it was clear we had something, and then there would be sort of a moment where we could like email different publishers or different people, and then that would be the point where we get the feedback where it's like people are going to agree to like help with this project, or if it
right.
got to that point. But it would be fun just to sort of like go from zero to having the momentum going a little bit. And I guess my goal, yeah, I feel like my goal is for this year would be like the bare minimum of like a game is on Steam that might even be like up there on Steam for free, because you can give a game on for free on Steam. Uh, and just to basically like that, where people like anyone that has Steam can like download the game, maybe pay some amount of money for it, and like the game would work, and they would sort of have no issue agreeing that like even if they didn't like the game, they would still agree like this is a game that is just like any like that they would expect to find on Steam. it would be
Uh-huh.
nice to just sort of fit that mold perfectly and have like sort of filled out the Steam page correctly to like inform people what the game is and just have it sort of figure out the whole pathway so that like the only remaining piece would be like how do you then get the game to be for people to be aware of it and to have some like buzz around it or
Yeah.
assuming that that game is like sort of an early demo thing, how do you then like remake that game better and add more stuff and then relaunch it and have like a a real launch with some force behind it like after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited by the prospect of yeah, going down this path as well. I feel yeah, I it's been yeah, difficult to just like work in general for various like personal and whatever reasons like the past like year. But yeah, I'm like at the point where I'm like I this is kind of like the last year I have money wise, I think, where I'm like, okay, like time to try to make this not even sustainable, but something that I could make sustainable like the next year, you know, where it's like there's
Yeah.
a path. Um, so yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, and yeah, I agree on the like creating a something that would be in Day of the Devs or any similar like game showcase that I respect is like a I would say a fairly high life goal like or medium term life goal like that would I think mean a lot to be able to create something like that.
Yeah, I feel like a strategic move is like study like study all the past Day of the Devs games and then just like distill what that level of game is. Like become familiar with like what is like a Day of the Devs game in terms of length and promise and like art style and complexity and then
Yeah.
almost like reverse engineer like yeah just fill in like pick our favorite genre, a genre we can do indie, figure out an art style that can be workable or like get art and then we have all the ingredients for like this should like then you show that to people and they're like if it looks like a Day of the Devs game and the content wise there's enough there, uh then it's like then yeah basically like then it is a Day of the Devs game and then it just comes down to like do you get selected or not or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think.
But that's always yeah that's the hard part for me is like sitting like sort of knowing that like I need to be like strategic about it, like I need to like go on Steam and find all the small games and then figure out like what's the size and shape of them and how do they pitch themselves on the store and the ones that are successful like uh collecting info, but I don't think I would end up doing that. I feel like I would just think about it in like a casual way.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the dark black hole game. I feel like is was well researched. Like it's sort of a play on the Vampire Survivors ish roguelike stuff that's like really
Mm-hmm.
popular at the moment, and but like a unique enough spin on it with uh, just enough like art pop where it just works. And it seems like it was like well scoped. Just from I just watched a little bit of like gameplay and stuff the other day, and yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like the scoping is a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of it actually,
Hmm.
and I noticed that like it really feels like it does a good job of like just crossing the line, but very clearly crossing the line into like this is a game that of course like someone put effort into this. I paid a certain amount of money for it, and I'm sort of getting the entertainment that I would expect, and but then a little bit like if you mistakenly thought it was like a larger game, you'd sort of be wondering like, is that all there is to it, or it's a bit like simplistic. But knowing that like it's at a lower price point, and it does help like how much you sort of feel like the creator once you get familiar with it, like the videos and the marketing and stuff, then it sort of does cross the line of like there's like nice polish, like the clickability, the sound effects. There's like enough there that it doesn't come across as like unpolished or cheap, but it definitely does. Like it's very smart about where it puts polish so that it feels like a one consistent, everything has a little bit of polish experience. So there's never like a moment where you sort of you feel like you see too much behind the curtains in terms of like the simplicity of it or something. And then there's a bunch of mode. Like they did a thing where they made like the original campaign mode and then like a time trial mode, and so then you start seeing all these different modes and you're like, well, I could play this game forever if I wanted to try out all these modes. So then you sort of feel like there's more game there after you've beaten it originally. So like the whole proposition is like well optimized for the Steam like ecosystem and return policy and everything.
Right. Yeah, that's smart. Good research.
Yeah, and in my mind, I feel like mini golf is an example of a thing that to me feels a bit timeless, and probably this is probably not true in like monetary terms or whatever. Or there's probably like a bunch of mini golf games on Steam, so they would get buried. But whenever I think of like what kind of game could I make in a very solid way, I always think like, well, mini golf in two-dimensional mini golf. You've got like repeatability, like you can build like physics shapes and then combine them into different holes. So you can have some procedural generation or some like handcrafted levels. You can put in like little points or something like, and then I could focus on like the, little polish, like things could make a noise or have an animation when the ball hits them or something like that. And I feel like mini golf is a thing that's very clear in my head of like you can create like a color palette and a design language, and then it's just about creating interesting looking shapes of mini golf holes. And to me that's the easiest thing to build, but also like in one word, like mini golf, everyone sort of knows like, okay, it's a mini golf game. And then if like in my mind, it's like if I want to differentiate that, if I make like a mini golf game but with some important twist, and maybe the twist is a little bit inspired by like recent trends in games, like if like I think a lot of people don't like it, but like when you complete a hole you get those 3 random cards and you pick a card and it gives you like some kind of upgrade. Like if you combined like mini golf with that, but in a way that like, because I'm sort of picturing like how does MinMax talk about stuff, like if they said, there's this mini golf game and it's basically like a good mini golf game, but there's this one extra thing that's like, that's what I would want them to say is like, but there's this one extra thing that makes it kind of different and interesting that actually like is easy to grasp but difficult to master sort of thing. And so I feel like in terms of design, like if I went along that train of thought, I feel like I could come up with something where it's like, oh yeah, like maybe there's little guys running around and something about like you're playing mini golf, but there's like not a tower defense or like a something like that, but some kind of like, or you have like little magical spells, or it's like a mini golf but you can shoot a gun or something like that. Like that's too much of a trope or whatever, but
something.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Or like a little bit,
I think,
or like a story, like every time you finish a hole, there's a little bit of some kind of like story revealed, or based on the choices. Like there's different holes sometimes, and that constitutes like a choice, and then there's like multiple sort of paths or something like that. But yeah, that's just like in my mind, it's like if I'm trying to just like get a project done, that's where I tend to go, is like it's gonna be mini golf, and then I'm gonna add something.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like for having the goal of just like shipping something, I feel like that's a great like starting place. And like, yeah, I know you had the game you built, the web game that just had like, I feel like it just had enough like artistic bent to it that it's like it's just cool, you know, like it like
Hmm.
it's a cool small thing. And yeah, you could totally uh yeah, make something in that vein. And I feel like yeah, there are like interesting mini golf. Like there's two that come to mind. I haven't played, but I've seen. Where one is like a horror game, um, and
Hmm.
you sort of uh, I forget where I saw this and or what it's called, but the idea is like yeah, it's a bit of like a horror setting, and you arrive at like an abandoned mini golf course, and you sort of break in, and then you start playing, and it's just everything's normal, but the mechanics of it are a little wonky, where you have to like look into the bag to take out the club and then swing, and then you sort of run, and then you get the yeah, like you have to do like extra actions, and then it becomes clear like why, because then there's like I don't know, little monsters that are like coming to get you, and every time that you look away from them they get closer, type of thing. So then it's like every every action becomes like very tense. Like so when you're looking into the bag, it's like you want to do it really quick so that they don't get, you know. um yeah, so that seemed like a cool idea. I don't know, you know, an execution. And the other one I thought of was a 4D golf, which is just like a wild idea, but it's like somehow they made this game where through mathematics it's like in 4 dimensions. So then you have like a slider where you can like change the
Oh,
entire
yeah.
level. Have you seen
That's
this
a
game?
good application. I've seen a game where you could change through the fourth dimension, but it was like a proof of concept. But mini golf's a
Yeah.
good application of that. That's pretty
Right.
smart.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Those are
Yeah, there's
just
also like what the golf, which took off a
right.
bit because it was pretty wacky. And then there's this game on iPhone called Golf. It's like Infinite Golf. Maybe it's just called Infinite Golf or something.
Mm.
Infinite Golfing. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's
No.
like you hold your phone in landscape and it's got really great physics. Like you pull back and release with your thumb to like hit the ball, but then you're just hitting there's like you're playing in landscape and there's like a low poly line that represents like a cross section of a hole. So you're hitting and you're like it's if you're looking at like a hill from the side and you hit the ball and you try to get it into the hole and like but it the way it rolls on like the sand is like you can tell sometimes like exactly what angle you need to hit it like and what speed up a hill so that it will like stick in the sand rather than like rolling back down. And sometimes
Mm.
you do have to rely on that. You have to like hit it so that it like sticks halfway up a hill and then you hit it again. But it's also infinite. So like every time you get it in the hole just like fills in and that's your new place where you tee off from. And then the landscape thing like scrolls to the left and then you have a new hole, but it goes like forever. There's like thousands of holes and all it does is like track your total strokes. uh People were like
That's
really into it
cool.
for a while. uh let's see if I can find.
It's such a good like simple idea.
Yeah, it's called desert golfing. And
It's
it's incredibly like simple, but also like the fact that like when you start playing that's the first hole and then every stroke you take it's just counting upwards like how many strokes, and that's all it does. And then you get to like hole 1000, hole 2000, like people were playing it like obsessively for a while trying to figure out like how far does it go. The
uh
guy said it was like partially handcrafted and like partially procedurally generated. But yeah, it's super like minimalist and it's just like a fascinating like existential thing where like you're just watching this number go up as you complete holes and you're kind of wondering and you're like getting really good at the physics of the golfing and you're just kind of wondering like where does all of this go or where does it end.
right.
uh
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a
I thought that was like a pretty masterful like display of just like simplicity but it's very like casual pastime fun.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like, yeah, you have no reason to ever restart, I guess, or like I guess you could, but yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I feel like along those lines, I'd want to make a game that's like you play like 100 holes of like fairly fun top-down 2D mini golf, and then you become like a character, like a top-down like little Pokemon character, and you just kind of walk around. And something about like there's no point. Like you're just walking around an environment as like this character, and then get you can eventually go to like another hole, like when the new day starts, and you can like play like another several holes of mini golf. But
Mm,
the that's what I would want. That's how I would want to work in story is like maybe you just like play some fairly fun like mini golf, and then in between 12 hole sessions or whatever, like in between like 100 hole sessions, you you can talk to a few other characters, and they kind of just say basically nothing. Like the point would be like you get cued a little bit about like you learn a little bit about these other players, or like you contemplate like what do you do? Do you go to the soda machine, or do you like buy like a different colored club at the store or something like that? And then you play like
mm,
another 100 holes of mini golf, and you just think about like what does all this mean? Like and then you go back, and then you're faced with once again like the rounds end. You just have to wander, and then like it's a play of like what is your purpose, and then just giving you like a very easy purpose, like play mini golf, and then taking that away and being like, but then you gotta, what do you do in between like holes or whatever?
yeah, yeah, that's good. That's very good.
That's the kind of, I really like that sort of because that's what I feel like. It's like it triggers my desire for a game to be like self-reflective, where like because when you're playing a game you have a purpose, and then that purpose is taken away when you stop playing, and then you come back again and you play the game. And that if that's what you are doing in the game, also like playing a mini golf game and then being shown like inside the game, walk away from the game and think about something and then come back, I feel like that's a good like it's a good reflection of uh for me it's like therapeutic, because it it is what I'm always doing, is like enjoying an activity or contemplating what do I do between activities or something.
Right. Yeah, that's such a interesting way to do like a reflection. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, the little that is like a thing that I feel like in some of your, I don't know, yeah, other games
Mm.
maybe, or yeah, the idea of like reflecting back like to the player, to have the player question their own actions like outside of the game.
Mm.
Like, yeah, that's like a different, I don't know, a different way of um like creating narrative, I guess. Maybe that's just like what uh
Mm.
ludo narrative or whatever means. I don't know. Like, yeah, all the terms, metatextual something something. But I don't know. Yeah, that's a cool technique.
Yeah, it's fun because like I guess that's the kind of games, like games that are kind of like an escape. Like you can shut your brain off and just kind of really enjoy the game, like get into a state of flow. Uh, but then it is fun when the game itself like acknowledges that in some way, where you feel like you're not just using the game as an escape. The game itself is also like maybe it provides you like a little like lounge. Like after your mini golf holes, you can go to a little nice lounge with like music and just kind of chill for a bit. And the game is kind of telling you like it's okay to like just relax and be in this game. And also if the thing you need to do to relax is like play mini golf, then do that. Uh, and then when you're bored of the game also provides like a little lounge where it's like in this game it's okay to also not play mini golf and just sit here and chill. Uh, I guess like web fishing is like that. It's like you can fish, but also there's not really a pressure to do so, and you can sort of just chat with people and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I've been reflecting on like how I want to make release my game. I think that I want to do the thing of releasing it in chapters on itch.io first for practice, like creating a polished piece and semi shipping it. Um, but I feel like given that the pieces I have they're mostly just like little narrative slices, I want to add in some puzzle elements. And hopefully in a way like where the puzzle relates to the narrative. And yeah, so that's the thing I've been contemplating while on long runs and just playing in my head a little bit. But that's my current idea for being able to release something quickly. Is just like 5 chapter game, one piece at a time, and then combine them all and put it on Steam.
Yeah, that strikes me as quite ambitious, but I wouldn't doubt that you could achieve it if that's what you're aiming for. But I don't know, like sort of the progress or like the in your head, like how much each chapter like costs in terms of development time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it does sound like because
like
yeah, even like
60%.
because yeah, when you say 5, like as soon as you say 5 chapters, it's sort of tempting to be like just scale it back to like 1 chapter, and then like a demo of like a demo of the first chapter because that would be something that could go on Steam is like a demo of a game. So like demo the first chapter, like a demo of the first chapter, and then release the first chapter. Both you could release like a demo of the first chapter on itch and then the demo on Steam and then the first chapter on itch and then Steam, and that would pretty much like accomplish the goal. And then the stretch goal would be like the other 4 chapters because it sounds quite like 5 chapters sounds like you completing the whole thing, and then to put all 5 on Steam is like a 5 chapter game on Steam is quite a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, maybe I can scale back. Yeah, I don't know because it's
Plus maybe the
like
whole or sorry,
they're all like pretty quick. Like
Mm.
yeah, like I guess depending on how quickly one completes the puzzles or how difficult I make the puzzles. It's like, well, yeah, like I made like one tiny puzzle that I might change a little bit, and it's like, 2 minutes maybe, and that's maybe a little longer, and that's like chapter 1. So it's like, yeah, maybe that's still fine if it's just like 15 minutes long and I just like sell it for $1 or something just to like get something out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if it's less than 2 hours, people can like refund it, and it actually
Right.
might cost us. I think we actually like
Yeah.
if you like lose money, if everyone buys it and refunds it, you end up paying money.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, that's
Um,
okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're selling it for like $1, if it's what I saw before and you're selling for $1, I feel like most people out of goodwill they would like go into it
Not do
hopefully like
that.
paying $1 and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that
true.
makes sense then if you're targeting like 2 minutes for each like chapter. It would be interesting as well, like if you did like the first 2 chapters are a demo and then buy the remaining 3 chapters for like a couple dollars. And then if people would
Yeah.
know, like if they like the first 2 chapters, they can pay to get the others.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
hard to
reason even to charge. It's just interesting to try to like work through the mentality of charging, but
right.
also we could sort of just like put it up for sale and then like several months or a year after it just goes to like free or something.
Yeah.
And then that
Yeah,
way
I think so.
we have the experience of charging and then also get to like release it more openly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, there is something to, for better or worse, I feel like there is a benefit to putting something on Steam, um, compared to everything else. Like even if it's free, just to have that in your back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
yeah,
adding another stretch goal for both of us is like adding some kind of multiplayer thing because you can use like Steam's multiplayer somehow. Uh, that would be interesting to like get that set up in a very minor way, like even just the ability to like view like one little piece of data from other players to
that would be
just
really cool. Yeah,
yeah yeah that
yeah,
would be
that'd be
interesting.
nice. I do like, yeah, I'm a little torn because I feel like I want to continue on this game that I've been working on off and on for a while, and complete it. Um, and I do have a draw to work on other things, like such as like a Marvel Snap ish game, like a very simple card game or something. Um, just because I feel like it would be fun, and maybe my like chess/strategy game background could lend make that a little easier for me compared to trying to create a narrative piece. And like I've never done creative writing really. um, yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm tempted to go through like a more like I'm actually looking at like the 1 year calendar in front of me. And so that's two things that I'm tempted to do for this like trying to get a game on Steam process is like really look at like the timeline and try to be realistic in my mind about what I can accomplish and how much time I have. Uh and then yeah, the other thing I think I lost what I was thinking of for the second thing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
I guess.
think.
Oh yeah, do like a very thorough game design,
Mm,
before before doing anything technical. Like you were talking about the Marvel Snap thing. I feel like you could do development on your current chapter based game at the same time, like do like an incredibly thorough design. So it's like two different skills. Like one is like programming and development, and the other one is like the design work and the mental work of like laying out the the Marvel Snap like concept.
right. True.
But
True.
then yeah,
Yeah.
for my thing, I sort of also I want to spend like a good chunk of time like really in a detailed way thinking about all aspects of the game and then like kind of convince myself that like all I have to do is like technically build this thing or like I might even do like renders and mock-ups so that when it comes time to develop, it's just like maybe there'll be a few small challenges along the way, but like in a few months, I just sort of realize the designs that I've made and then the thing that comes out the other end is either fun or not. Maybe I can make a few tweaks, but like I want to resist sort of getting stuck like designing as I build or
Hmm.
something like that. I want to be like very sure, yeah.
That's very smart. Yeah.
Because I never do that, but for this goal, I sort of just know. I feel like that's my. I feel like I have a good amount of experience, like having projects not work, and this is a very. I think I just this is like a flag or a red flag of like this very ambitious, like getting something to be like on some like the Steam store probably like I'm in my mind I'm allocating like 3 months like I'm like the game has to be done and then I need
Uh-huh.
like 3 months to like work
Make it
through like
work.
just
Yeah.
all the little like it's like oh and I need a screenshot of this and it doesn't build when it goes here and like
Yeah. Yeah.
this thing has to be in this format and Godot is not letting me like export and uh I need to like just have a lot of time and space for like that stuff uh and then yeah and then also just the game has to be stable so it can't it have to be like I sort of have to know the size and like the quality of art assets and stuff all has to be there up front and then they have to stitch together very solidly, or else it's sort of in a janky state where I don't really even just like screen resolution decisions have to be made, and so yeah, I feel like the concept has to be really clear
Right.
before I
Yeah.
get into the weeds or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a smart idea. Make it easiest as possible, knowing that there will be all these little issues that crop up unrelated to design. Yeah, I will aspire to join you in that in that goal and design thoroughly before yeah, getting too technical.
Yeah, I would say my goal will be like whatever I do in the next like I feel like January has been the month where like we came up with this goal idea of like getting a game on Steam, and then by like the 1st of October, that's when I would want to have like a game essentially done, so that I have like October, November, December to like work through all like the Steam pages and everything. So then what I would set as a goal for myself is like by the 1st of June this year, I want to have like a very clear idea of like whether this is I've made a prototype or I've made like a very thorough design or like mock-ups or something. I feel like I want to be able to like really clearly explain and like communicate or visualize or like have it clear in my own head by the 1st of June, like what the game like is, and such that I could in like June, July, August, September, so in like those 4 months, I would spend like 4 months developing the concept with the goal of like, can I just get like a finished game by 1st of October? And then, but obviously like that could fail. But that would be like my estimates, is like maybe I finish the design early and I have more development time or whatever, or I overrun and I go late and then I'm like developing a lot in the month of November. But I feel like that would be my best shot, is like essentially like plan for 4 months and then start development first of like, because that would be fun for us to like touch in as well. Like I'll mark on my calendar, like report, did I actually design anything by 1st of June? And
Uh,
then report again, like what do I have anything that looks like a game by the 1st of October? Those would be two interesting like times to check in. And maybe we just abandon this in like a week and don't end up doing it, but it doesn't matter. But it'll
yeah,
be interesting to see if
I like that.
it
I like that a
happens.
lot. Yeah, and it's I should also make a schedule for myself, and it's like realistically like I can do a lot more because I don't have a job right now. Like I've I've been spending this month uh like doing other little things and like activism stuff and like writing like silly stories that are just kind of for me
Mm.
and like my partner. And like that's great, but it's also like I do have like a lot of time that I could allocate. So I think I don't know, but it's tricky because I don't want to be like, okay, now hop straight into 8-hour work
Yeah.
days every day, because that's just like not realistic. Like that's not how my brain will work. But like I'm hoping I can get there um, sometime soon, where that just feels natural. Um,
Yeah, we
and
figured out
then
last weekend that we have like a library, like the Bellevue library is like quite nice, and it's got like a lot
mm,
of tables. So I can't really do like full development there. I just have like my small laptop, but that's like a really fun and inspiring place for me at least. So I can get like, if I go there like for a full day, I can get like a whole day of stuff on the weekend. It just hurts my
it's
back to like sit in a library chair, but that's like
yeah,
that's the main trade-off. But it's like a really fun like work environment.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I have that issue too. I love like the vibe of working at a cafe
Mm.
or like a nice library, but it's like I like have like chronic lower back issues, and it's just like, yeah, can't do it.
It was funny too in the library. There was a bunch of like Gen Z, like I guess Gen Z is currently kind of, or whatever generation that is graduating from high school at the moment. Like there was a bunch of them there, like working on partner projects in the library. And so I kept hearing like other groups like joking about using ChatGPT. And then one person kept saying they just wanted to go home and play Fortnite. And it was like it was like the exact stuff that's been reported to me about like the struggles of Gen Z. And then I heard another
Uh-huh.
like high school student saying like tuition is going to be like 125K a year. Uh,
Oh
and it
my
was just sort of
god.
like hearing all these little like sound bites of like, yeah, that seems on track, like for the struggles of this generation and
Yeah.
what they're thinking about.
Yeah. I do not envy them. Yeah. I feel like I have some blends because I have a lot of like nieces and nephews,
Mm.
like six actually, and they're like their ages span 2 through 13, like with like yeah, perfect little gaps. So I feel like I have like
Oh.
a lens like for that whole like range as to like what's going on a little bit, but like yeah, 18-year-olds now, I just have no idea. But that sounds yeah, sounds like a lot.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because like in theory you have the free time, but I don't know if that is true in practice because like with an open-ended schedule, that's like the most intimidating, hardest thing to get momentum. But it's like in some sense it could be an advantage like for me where like every day I have like kind of guaranteed moment like I have to wake up and do stuff and then my brain is like working. So then I
Right.
get, I have sort of like an hour a day an hour a day of like good time if I like use it properly. But that's the same question for both of us is like when we have the golden hour, do we use it or just uh, not find the motivation?
Yeah, yeah. I've been really trying yeah, this this last couple of weeks to like um be strict with myself about like yeah, downloaded the website blockers and um yeah, just like not, go play chess or watch YouTube or check the news whenever I like feel a little bit of like stress. Um so yeah, I'm trying to rewire myself a little bit because yeah, the whatever those habits are for dealing with stress, it's like I could be doing worse things like, but they're not like I don't know, getting to the root of it, I guess. So hoping it'll be a better year for productivity.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, maybe I will. Yeah.
Mhm.
Peace out. Grab some
Yeah,
dinner.
yeah. Have a good night.
You as well. Good talking.
Yeah,
Take care.
yeah. I'll see you. Bye.